the state give you to act, right?
Yes, you are to act within the confines.
So no, if you are saying that you have the power to stop and search and the state did not give you that power
Right.
to stop and search, there is no legislation that says you can stop a vehicle arbitrarily and you can ask for documents or you can try to come up with a crime.
Yes.
Then where does that leave these officers?
Okay, it leads you like the way I plead my case against Inspector Brian. Him is the first example for that in this country as far as the records will show. You plead what is called joint and several liability. Yes? You plead that his actions were at times switching between what the state would permit and what it would not permit. But you cannot apportion the damages that he did on his own.
Right.
And so him and the state are to be held jointly and severally liable for the damages because you cannot apportion, how much of the damage is caused by him acting outside of, yes, the confines of the rules that governs. Yeah. So when you plead the case like that, him liable.
Right.
Yes.
So now the judge has to determine which part of it is his liability.
No man, joint and several liability.
Right.
Equally liable for the full amount.
So when we say jointly liable for the full liability.
Yes.
For all the damages that are sustained.
Yes.
And provable.
Yes.
At the end, are you saying that it is split down the middle?
No, they're both liable for the same amount, for the full amount.
Okay.
I know it's not a common principle, so I can understand even you,
Right.
It's not practiced in Jamaica for one. And I've only seen one case law where the judge hint to it and say, if you want to have the constable name on this lawsuit, plead that, no?
Right. And this is why I normally say to separate them. But again, if you separate them, you have all other things to deal with,
right,
as far as application and whatever else to the case. So, but
right. Name the two parties on the same suit.
Right.
But if you do not plead that they are jointly and severally liable, then the court will throw off the constable name off it.
Gotcha.
And only keep the attorney general. Gotcha. So and then you cannot then come and sue separately and say, well, the constable is also liable. Nope. You were to plead joint and several liability. So therefore, when you win, both parties are liable for the full. Let me repeat myself. For the full amount of the judgment debt. You understand me?
Right.
Audience, you understand what's going on here? So, full amount of the judgment debt. Okay? So, that is the principle. That's what you plead, joint and several liability, and there's a way to do it. Yeah, we can't go through that in the details. Yeah. Exactly. Yes, strong JM. They both are liable for the full damage. All right. So 876. We are saying that Section 20 of the Road Traffic Act conveyed no power to stop.
No.
And we are also saying that there is no section in the Road Traffic Act or regulation that permits any constable or anyone to stop any vehicle at all arbitrarily. No arbitrary detention is allowed in the Road Traffic Act. Correct?
Correct.
That's what we are saying.
Yes.
Yes. Section 91 is the closest thing to that. Not true?
If we want to call it that, yes.
Yes, closest thing. It's the closest thing to it. So at Section 91, me not gonna wrap my brain around it because the judge don't wrap his brain around it. Yeah? So me not sweat the one day. Yes? Right. The judge done rule and said that the section there have to do with traffic flow or some reasonable purpose.
Exactly.
Okay? So when, and I want to remind the officers then that if they're not in the lawful execution of their duties, which means many things, you haven't fleshed my mind around that part there yet.
We're not going to that one right now.
Right.
But, yes. But there are special circumstances to apply that statute, correct?
Fine. I will have to wrap my brain around that some more. That one.
Yes.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to agree with you. I'm going to say I am not there yet.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah,
I'm not there yet in my mind with that part of it. Yes?
Cool.
So 876. But what we're agreeing to is that, viewers, the police does have the power, and you have a duty to produce your documents, your driver's license, on request by a constable in uniform, or one who produce their ID. Yes? But remember now, gentle people, cart before the wheel. The only circumstances that the police can detain you or arrest you in the first place is when there was reasonable reason to believe you're going to commit an offense. Yes? Yeah, him have reasonable suspicion of an offense, or him see you commit an offense. That's section 13 of the Constable Force Act. So until and unless that situation exists, then the constable could not have. And if you want case law, go to section 57 of Heman's versus Attorney General, where the court pointed that out. Yeah? That the first thing that must exist is that for the officer to be stopping you, therefore detaining you, there must be one of those three, or a combination that exists. Firstly.
Right.
So when the officer stop me and I say, why you have reasonable suspects that me commit an offense? What the reason? Because I'm trying to get that information. Yes? I'm trying to hear the magic words. And if I can't hear the magic words, then it done better for me, depending on the situation I go. Yes? So when you come there and say, documents and driver's license, hear me now. Yes, sir. Section 20 never say you need reasonable suspicion of an offense to request my documents. It did not say that. But, cart before the wheel. Before you could have even stopped me to be even interacting with me, the law required you to have those three things.
Exactly.
And that is why Heman's versus the Attorney General, in paragraph 57, the last part says, the request for documents and driver's license similarly follows what section 13 of the Constabulary Force Act prescribes.
Exactly. And for my law, an offense is a crime. An offense and a crime means the same thing. They just use offense because it sounds less intrusive or less common. So you just keep saying offense and you get used to it and you think it's just something minor like a traffic infraction. But they all relate to a crime. A police can only interact with crimes.
Right. All right? So, gentle people, nobody over here is saying that the police, the section 20 says the constable must have reasonable suspicion of offense. He never says so. But the law presumes that that existed before him or she detained you in the first place. And not only presume, this law requires reasonable suspicion of an offense, or reason to believe that you are about to commit an offense. Yeah? Or that you are seen commit an offense. And so under those guys, the officer can then essentially examine for many things. Including checking to see if you have a driver's license. Yeah?
Exactly.
So, because one offense can create reasonable suspicion of many.
Right. Exactly. Once you fall under that umbrella, they have
just commit one offense and all those stumble on it. All those stumble on fire.
Right. Exactly.
Because if you commit one, then there's reason to believe you could commit other.
Right.
If you commit one traffic offense, there is any police officer can make the argument. Well, sorry, me not say any police officer. Any competent attorney can make the argument that they had reasonable suspicion that you're an unlicensed driver. Because you remember, a licensed driver know the rules of the road. No, man, it is presumed you know the rules.
It's presumed, right?
Right? It's law, so you are presumed to know the law, right? So if you're acting in contravention of if you breach one, then the assumption would be unlicensed driver would not have done that. You see the whole house stumbling by?
Right.
Yeah.
And again, this is why sometimes you get multiple tickets.
Right.
Because
Right.
they will now claim that based on this, and that, and
Tara.
rabbit hole.
Right. So viewers, you're following what we said so far? Or we're coming to our end of this live now. Thumbs up, something, send us some interaction, something let us know you are following so far. Mr. Dunn order the law, neither 876LB did not at any point in time say that Section 20 says the officer must have reasonable suspicion of offense. No, it didn't say that. But the laws that permits a stop or a detention in the first place requires that exists. So after that reasonable suspicion, anything can flow. Yep. That is correct, Scott One Don. Only when you commit a minor... No, man, sorry, I'm not going to agree with him, Scott Don. I mean technical like 876 right now. It's not only when you commit a minor crime. There could be suspicion that you might have committed one. And there could also be reason to believe you are about to commit one. Okay? If that is the case, but I want to throw another wrench in the argument here though. The power can only be used for the purpose of which is conveyed. Yeah? So if this was not a road traffic related offense that you were detected of committing or about to be committing, or the three, yes, one of the three situations, then no, documents are coming at this and driver's license don't come in. All right, because you cannot use a road traffic act power because of on a situation where it was a dangerous drugs that you suspect the person of committing a breach of. Dangerous drug act that the offense was detected from.
Right.
And that is the principle under which a power must be used for the purpose. The purpose of a road traffic act power is to preserve the public safety on the road. It has nothing to do with drugs and guns. So when you stop all a man like me, I'm going to tell them about you're searching gun, drugs, and this and that, and then I want documents on me, depending on the mood, you're not getting nothing. If I'm on the mood when I feel like I'm going to go to jail today, then I just get the hands and put on the handcuff them. Because I will say this to the audience 876. Because I am not able to hear, because the state is, as far as I can tell, it appears that the state is dodging my lawsuit. Yeah? Then I am left with the choice now where I'm saying to any officer who I buck on the road or who decide to stop me on the road, yeah, that carry me go to jail or tell me say I'll give me a ticket and then me get a license. What you joke like 876? I will refuse to give you the license if you don't come lawfully. Yes? And then when I refuse to give it, just tell me say again, give me one ticket or arrest me. And if you say arrest me, then we say here I go on. You don't have to go the route they want. But if you want to go there. So see license here. Now go ahead and give me the ticket for paying for those.
Right.
Or arrest me if you want. And then we take station. Huh?
Either way it's unlawful.
Either way. Because, but here, what is my position, 876, and the viewers? My position is this. I'm willing to now take it that far because, me and you know say, criminal cases go through the court faster than anything else.
Yep.
By the next week, if they arrest me, if it's during the week, I will be going to court in short order. If it's a Friday, I'm prepared for the weekend, man. Don't worry, we're rubbing night days them. Because me have bill at about 20,000 an hour in that cell. Yeah? Don't worry. Me good and ready for it, man. Mind mentally ready for it. Yeah? So if you want to do it on a Friday, that's fine. By Monday or Tuesday, I'll be going in front of the judge and we will start the proceedings to make the court declare plain and straight again, without ambiguity, that the requirement to produce license is one that requires the constable before the fact to have those three things, including reasonable suspicion of an offense. One, yeah,
And he has to prove it.
demonstrably justified, my friend. Your actions must have been necessary.
Right.
876. I think I'm going to end my statements as it relates to this on this note. You know, say, based on where you are, Jamaica is a one whole country, but it have different parishes. You know, say, in a Jamaica, the action in Portland may not be demonstrably justified to even request documents. Given that in Portland it may be that the statistics, that's why the burden of proof is on the state, not me. The state. Yes? Given that in Portland, it may be that there's not a significant incident of unlicensed drivers driving on the road. But in Kingston, that may be the case.
Right.
So therefore, in Portland, it is not demonstrably justified.
Right. Yeah.
Remember, it's come down to necessity.
Right. And guess what? It is the burden of proof is on the accuser.
You mean in this case, the infringer?
The infringer, correct. Or the violator.
The violator of the right.
Right.
Must prove.
Yeah, because otherwise I just straight damages being collected.
Hey, 876. When I look at the Gleaner articles, when the man them institute the law, they will say, all that must have license in the vehicle at all times. The man names never say. There's a Gleaner article on it, and there is also other media houses where when the police representative was testifying, he's saying we do not have an issue where there are many people driving without license in Jamaica. Hear me? See, I don't know. Crown case dead. If them challenge that road, if them can't respond, if them even respond, I must be because they're going to hear me about all that. 876, they cannot respond because that article alone, I would be those articles, I'll be admitting into evidence to prove that you see the article where KD Knight and Senator Charles was like, and they're like, well, we don't have a situation where there is a high incident of drivers driving without license on the road. See me, huh? So why was it necessary for one to institute this a lawyer then? Well,
Exactly.
that could give rise to people's to further detention, not initial, but further.
I mean, it can still be challenged on those grounds too.
You know,
I mean, but
876, we
you
know.
first have to know, right? You can't challenge something you don't know.
Me know 876 and I'm
Yes.
yes.
Right.
There's so many angles.
Yeah.
So if it you know, Age of Aquarius, there's so many angles. And they cannot prove that it is necessary for anyone to have to produce a license arbitrarily.
Right.
It cannot. It's not demonstrably justified. Me not go through the one of that because the case is still pending. Yes? But, you know, it is not. It is not. It's not. 876. Section 7 is the same thing, not true?
Section what?
7 of the RTA.
Let's see. I don't particularly remember that one.
The one that allows them to request the accountable to request your insurance and all those stuff.
Fitness registration and licensing.
But it says proof of those, not true?
That prescribed.
Jam done while he's looking, I agree. Body worn cameras should be worn by the police. Because I've seen too many incidents when they lie. They will lie in those statements. I know it firsthand. They will, listen, you better know if you admit video into evidence. Because the man then will make up some story when they look at it, all right, hold on. Somebody in the office and write this one. How did this happen? It's a different interaction, this.
Right. Yeah, that is true. So section 7 goes to show that it is not. You don't need the originals. You just need evidence that it exists or that it is valid at the time.
So when the man tell us documents and driver's license, what documents I mean? I need a fitness and I need
And some of them say, give me the whole of them, whatever documents.
No, and I saw this thing go. What documents do you want, sir? I need to see your registration. I need to see your. All right, cool. What if I don't have them? And I go me ask Superintendent Dennis there. What if I don't have my license? Cause one more year, my again, you know. What if I don't have it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then me go. Oh, you realize that the statistics can provide evidence of it?
I know that the other day, someone had copies because they took someone's documents and they wouldn't return it, right?
Right.
I mean, listen, you can't make up some of these things, but you can't prevent everything, right?
No.
But at the end of the day, some of them, because I am not of the opinion that they don't know these things. I don't think.
I am going to agree.
I think that they are just adamant on doing something else. Because one of the other things is that, again, if you are doing something outside of a policy, right? The policy doesn't apply to that act.
Right.
So again, it's based on the angle that they are playing.
Right.
If I am playing something that is outside of the realm of this game,
yes,
you can't tell me say me break the rules because I'm not play that game.
I mean, like you put up that again. Like, me like you introduce it into the conversation like game. Viewers, let me take off the glasses. When I hear something that communicate than anybody else, I always say this is a game. See, I'm smiling. I'm smiling because if you're in court and you're not in control of the situation, it's better know say I lose a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm smiling. I'm laughing. I'm prepared to take the two beat up on something they might want to give me. Don't worry, man. We take them. Don't worry. We take them, man. We take them. If it ever get there, don't get me wrong. I will try to, make sure it don't get there. Because if a man decides them and stop me and say, me not chatting, me not nothing, documents, me a license, I will be like, sir. And if me not have it, me say, sir, me not have it here. All right then. If you don't have it, you're going to arrest you.
Come on, take care.
Come on, take care. Go on.
You notice, a lot of times, they have this demeanor.
Yes.
And the other officers are standing there.
Yes.
Just looking,
Uh-huh.
And they don't realize they are accomplices to unlawful actions.
They never, cause they are required to report it.
Right.
Hey man. 876. I went to a special unit of the force yesterday, and I stepped in the unit, and I will not mention the unit I went. And the gentlemen were like, "Don't stop. Continue doing what you're doing. Some people might don't like you, and they might be complaining, but you are the first person we see working to hold the police accountable. These are police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't stop. We are learning. They're like, we are learning. We did not know many of these things, but we are learning."
Yeah,
So
because a
don't
lot of it is word of mouth too.
Yes. They never even know say they are required to comply with certain things. So I'm kind of saying now that so there are some laws that they know, but then there's some of it them because you have seen it that there are a lot of them are saying like the policies. That's the one I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're saying policy and a law and then have to comply with. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you that they are aware of a lot of the different various things like the laws, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not only from the principle that ignorance of law is no excuse, but the policy element, they seem to be taking the policies as just willy-nilly. And then the thing that hurt them the most is when they see where I'm not just quoting these laws, I'm quoting force order, and I'm quoting the number. And I will remind the viewers and the subscribers from YouTube here that the constabulary force orders are no longer confidential documents. They are now open to the public. And the reason behind, since January of this year, the reason behind that, when the Constabulary Force High Command freed up force orders, everything free up to part 1, which is the part that really matters. Yes? When they did that, they said that the reason for freeing it up is to allow for members of the public to be aware of the standards and what the police are expected to, what they're expected to do and how they're expected to operate, so that the public can help to hold them accountable.
Exactly, because without the reports and because they're not out there, how are they going to know? Nobody's reporting it.
No. And when 876, my next thing we tell you. 876. If your reporter you don't know what your report say, your case now go away.
That's another problem. Yeah.
876. Your guy police go say me go. One policeman did he mean no there's and he asked for me documents. 876. You have to know what the report say. You have to put in the report. You have to say when him do wrong. You have to say him do this and the Lord did say him to do this and me never do it and him that you have to know how we spell out the wrong though.
Right. It has to be tied to something.
No way.
It has to be tied to something. That's
yes. What you say him do? Him breach my constitutional rights. How you say him breach it? Him breach it by doing, if you don't know what breach look like, how you get me the report?
That's why you have to know what rights you have.
When do wrong? He never in a uniform. What you mean by never in a uniform? Da-da-dee. Do you know what the police uniform look like? Da-da-dee.
Right.
Complain again. Him never in a uniform. What you mean by he wasn't in a uniform? He was not wearing any badge number on his shirt, on the uniform shirt, and he was not wearing any name tag on the uniform shirt, blah, 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 blah. And as such, he was not in uniform. Now them have something to investigate, not true?
Exactly. And then if you come back and say, well, I was wearing a vest, well, that's even worse. It should be displayed at all times when interacting with the public, right?
That's right. You go complain to the police. All right. So like I say, so using the vest. You go complain to the officer was wearing a vest over his uniform. All right. And what?
Right. You don't know if he's a police officer at that point.
Oh, so what the issue now? What the wrong with him do? Can you say I'm wearing a vest, but why wrong? Why wrong? Can nothing wrong with the vest?
No.
Oh, the vest didn't have police mark on the back. Oh, that's wrong. Is this what I'm going to 76?
Right.
Right? So you have to know the wrong so that you can spell it out in the report that you're giving.
Right.
Not the wrong, the right and the wrong. So ignorant man can't give proper police statement. You see, you realize a case now going away. Yep. When I lodge a complaint against Inspector Brian, what a part of the complaint was simple along the line of what? I was assaulted and battered. Assault and battery people. Yes? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by assault? His detention, his search was unlawful. What do you mean? And the question keep repeating. What do you mean by that? He did not comply with the public interaction policy, and he also didn't comply with blah, 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 blah.
Right.
How? Well, when he searched me, he did not tell me which station is attached to it. Detective said, oh, aye. Okay. Yes? You have to have all those details. If you don't know, problem.
Yeah.
So, gentle people, 876LB is there. I'm here. We'll teach as much as we can. My website is going to be launched. I'm going to be launching a website soon. And a book that I've published on my TikTok page. Well, not the book, but this a part of the front page. A book to operate as a guide for you guys to become an information bank, right? So that you guys can get access to that. The website is being worked on by a team, and so and so all of it is coming. And 876 himself, you can tell them about the banker stuff that you have also. that can assist.
Yes, so for those of you who are less inclined to want to interact with the officers, and again, Mr. Dunn gave his disclaimer earlier, Don't try what he's doing at home unless you absolutely know what you're talking about. You understand that situations are circumstantial. So don't go out there thinking that every interaction with the police is going to go as you see it. Okay? Now, as far as my platform goes, I advocate for activation of rights, right? So not only should you know that you have rights, you should know what those rights are. That's the first thing before you do anything else. You have to know what rights you have. And once you know the rights that you have, then you can start thinking about checking out my website and my group, which is voiceofjamaica.com. Once you go there, you will start seeing all the information related to what's called public rights activation. There's a menu item. You click in the menu in the supporter portal, and that is where you can become a signatory to our rights activation public rights declaration, right? And that simply means that the constitution itself that we have in place now in Jamaica, it does not have any teeth. It simply reserves your rights. So until you invoke those rights, and most likely it's going to be in a legal forum, you don't really have those rights activated. So what we're doing is we are activating our rights in the public, so that way they are active at all times. It is not when you choose to activate them outside of whatever else. So as soon as you have a violation, guess what? Just like Mr. Dunn like to sue these unlawful activities, you can simply go about and claim the damages that you have sustained as a result of the violation of your rights that were activated. Okay? Now again, there are details, there are levels, and I don't charge for anything. There are no fees, there are no memberships and all that kind of stuff. However, the classes that I have on Wednesdays, those are general classes geared towards traffic, just like how Mr. Dunn will show you some of those interactions. And the Saturday class are only advanced classes for those who are signatories. So if you become a signatory, you feel like this information is for you, then you can become a signatory and you fill out the supporter portal form. Other than that, you can just watch the Wednesday class and be entertained and learn a little bit here and there and watch the videos and stuff. But if you want to go further, you have to become a signatory.
All right. So there you have it. Guys, you have been a great audience. There's a lot more for us to share. We have not even, we're not even cover 1% of what is there to share. We have just been, touching as broadly as we can. But I'm sure myself and X76 will try to do this another time. And so, and I myself will have lives, impromptu lives. Summer is coming up, so that means I will have more time to be doing more lives with, so that we can, take your questions and all of that. But yeah, we're here to share information. It's not legal advice. There are that's Donovan Collins, attorney at law, is on the mission also. Yes, you see, Ace is also on the mission. Yeah, one thing I use can cuss, So there are a bunch of people who are highly knowledgeable, and understand the game. This is a game, people. If you're not laughing, if you're not smiling in court, you are losing. You have to control the narrative. Okay? Good. So have fun, understand the game, play the game. It's a game. Game of chess. May the best player wins. Yep.
And as we say, keep it lawful. Always.
Until then, viewers, have a great night.
All right.